So I just ended up finishing season 2 of Gen V, and I will say I was pretty impressed with the way the whole season went about. I personally think, yes, it is better than The Boys season 4. Let's get that out of the way. Even though season 4 of The Boys wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. Yes, it was the weakest season. Was it completely terrible? No. But personally, in my opinion, Gen V season 2 really does kick off with a really tough opening. Although they did say that this took about a month for a delay because of the passing of Chance Perdomo, obviously rest in peace. But yeah, with that being said, they had to hold back a month for that so then they could start shooting in May and finish up in October. With that being said, I think that the way they executed the whole thing pretty well was pretty good, and obviously not replacing Andre was respectful, even though I was kind of sad that Andre wasn't going to make it because I did like him as a character. But I think they made him part of the show in a respectful way. So, kicking things off, we have New Year, New You. I think the way that the characters are still trying to settle in with going back to school, but also trying to get over this event of trauma that they went through with being in Elmira was a very, very tough one to take in. And also seeing the fact that Kate was in the show was also interesting. How she was excited to see them. It kind of made me a bit annoyed because she was like one of those people that you never would trust from the bat after what happened in season 1. And I personally think that the way it was executed, the way they kind of talked about Andre, and the way they kind of settled in with being in this new part of school, not trusting Kate, that was a good opener. I thought it was a really good way of kind of building up to what it was about to become. And also the introduction to Cypher, which I think was a really, really good character as well. I definitely thought that Cypher was a really good role as well. And even understanding that in the next episode with Justice Never Forgets, that Cypher was planning to do something for the Soups, which is obviously what was setting up to be in season 5, where you're going to get Soups building up to be soldiers and fighters and going against, humans, because that's what season 5 of The Boys is going to be about, probably like humans versus Soups. And I also think that the introduction to Vika, who is a parody of Thor, and the references to like Thor Love and Thunder was a funny one. Victor Vika, in my opinion, was a really, really good character. I definitely like his entrance of "Good morning, bitches," which is hilarious. Even though the fight scenes, I think they stepped up a notch in this season. It was definitely more action, more impactful than season 1. It was definitely something that I really, really enjoyed watching, and I could rewatch the highlights of it again and again. It was just so unhinged, so amazing, and I can appreciate that season 2 wasn't as gratuitous as like The Boys season 1, or or The Boys season 4 even, because The Boys season 4 was a lot more gratuitous, a bit too sexual, it was a bit too much at times, but this season was less gory, and I can appreciate that, and less sexual. But either way, I liked it a lot. The second episode was basically Jordan and Marie building up a relationship after what happened last time. Running away was one thing that Marie Moreau did, and it kind of not made Jordan happy, which is something that I really, really understand why Jordan would be emotional about. But again, building a relationship with each other is something that I did enjoy watching. Obviously, it wasn't too happy, too in over the top, too in your face, all of that. I think was a good relationship build up for Jordan and Marie. I will say that in the third episode, which is H for Humans, I definitely liked what they were doing after, when the premiere of season 2, they always bring in 3 episodes. So obviously with season 3, I think they did a really good twist on what Jordan Lee was doing. Jordan Lee, in my opinion, was the highlight of season 2. I really loved the role that Derek Liu and London Thor played as Jordan Lee. I think they connected pretty well with the character, and also Jordan Lee kind of basically so confident with what he was doing. But obviously it's kind of frightening at the same time to kind of take courage to then expose something that Vought is doing and what happened to Kate. Obviously, now that there has been moments where people have been poking fun at some of the messages on it, which is a problem with what the fans have in this season, is that they watch Gen V for the vibes rather than actually understanding where they're coming from. And this is what happens when writers put too much trust towards the audience. The audience are going to have things go over their head. But what they were doing in season two, I can completely understand why they were doing this. And I think that that's what made it very interesting. With the first three episodes, I think it started off pretty well, but my least favorite is actually Bags. Bags is something where I thought, okay, the fight between Jordan and Marie was unexpected in my opinion. I didn't see it going that way, but also I didn't think the build up was as good as I thought it would be. The fight between the two of them was a weird way of kind of showing, the relationship between each other. They just got along. Now they have to fight, and I knew it was going to be a complicated one because now it's going to make Jordan feel more weak and more, I guess, less understandable of why you shouldn't treat yourself so harshly, because it wasn't Jordan Lee's fault that he was punching Marie and kicking Marie and beating her up and all that. But I also think that the fight scenes could have been a bit longer, and I think the closer of it was a bit of a weird twist in the end, because I definitely thought that the ending could have been about an a fight between Marie Moreau or one of them wins, but then they just go back out and then just start training again. I don't know how, but yeah, I didn't think it was that interesting, Bags. But either way, I think it did kind of build up from the kids are not all right. Obviously, this is the way where we're gonna see Marie basically kind of understand her powers a bit more. I like the appearance of Sister Sage, and previously in episode one, I liked the appearance of Starlight, obviously saving Marie from Dognot. But Sister Sage, in my opinion, was I would say I didn't like her that much in this season than I did with last season. This season she was a bit more fetish and a bit more, weird towards Thomas Godolkin. But I understand now that, why they were building a relationship together and what they were trying to do. But I knew the plan wasn't going to go to plan on her part. But either way, I definitely felt weirded out by Sister Sage's cameo appearance. But either way, I do like how they were trying to build Marie Moreau's powers and making her become one of the best. I definitely thought her powers were, even though gross, but they're really, really cool. And the appearance of her sister Annabeth was a surprise one too. I mean, it's good to see the sisters finally reunite after a long disappearance, because obviously finding her sister is what she wanted to do, Marie. And I'm glad that they managed to put that on there, and it's good that they actually made a better relationship this time than they did like beforehand, because obviously it would be scary to see your sibling kill your parents accidentally and you wouldn't know how to react. So yeah, I'm glad that they have a good reunion together, and I'm glad they managed to come back to life as well, because obviously now this is something that is risky but is also very, very good. Definitely see a resemblance of Victoria Newman with Marie Moreau, but just more telekinesis, because every time she controls blood, she can basically make someone like fly and float, and it really does seem very scary. But it's definitely good adaptation to Marie. Then we have cooking lessons, which I do like the fact that Vika came back again, and definitely wanted to find a way to bring Marie back to Godolkin, but unfortunately that did not happen. But thankfully, I liked the fact that Stan Edgar and Zoe Newman has appeared in the show. I never expected Zoe to be in it, but I did expect Stan because I did see the trailer of it. But it was definitely worth a lot. And the one thing I didn't really appreciate or liked as much is that Marie Moreau, I started getting resemblance of her trying to be like Kate. And that's what I got from the seventh episode, which was, even though it's my favorite episode actually, but the seventh episode was something that I got a reminiscent of Marie trying to be like Kate, where she's saying she's trying to save people or trying to stop Godolkin and doing it in the wrong way. But then it's like Kate doing the same thing in season one, where she was trying to save people, but really she's just harming them at the same time. So I think, yeah, this is one of Marie Moreau's darkest side yet. And, that's one thing that I like is her developing her powers, but becoming like Kate is what I did not like at all. I definitely thought that there were some moments that really could have kind of engaged very well in that episode for cooking lessons, but we got a bit more understanding of what Stanica was trying to do, and we got a bit more understanding of what they're trying to see what Thomas Godolkin's goal is to try and make sure that Cypher isn't trying to do anything suspicious. But unfortunately, they fall into that trap in episode 7, and it was definitely one of the best twists in the episode, and I never saw it coming. I definitely thought that Ethan Slater, if I'm pronouncing it right, he definitely played a good role in Godolkin as well, and I finally got the understanding of what Godolkin is trying to do, and also realizing that that person, Dog, he wasn't actually Cypher. It was just Cypher taking over a human being, and it's crazy because it's crazy how powers can just like evolve into another person once they live longer. It's definitely a scary sight to see. But I also think that honestly, when I see Godolkin, he looks like one of the most powerful soups around. And then we get the season finale, which is Trojan, and I honestly got to admit that it was quite disappointing. In my opinion, it was quite episode where I thought something was going to go down, but it did. There were some actions here and there. I thought it was a pretty good. Some scenes that Thomas Godolka was doing was very scary. But in my opinion, I don't think the season finale ended strongly. It was okay, but if you compare it to, let's say, Peacemaker or like Alien, I think Gen V is more digestible because at least they got the job done with Godolkin, and Godolkin is no more. So obviously now you would see that what they are planning to do now with the suits is that I personally think that they are going to make a cameo appearance in The Boys season 5, and it is a way to prep up what season 5 is about to become. And I honestly think that this show overall is pretty good. The highlights I will say for the characters is Jordan Lee for sure. I think Jordan Lee is great. I think the relationship with Marie Moreau, the character growth for Jordan Lee, and the role that Jordan Lee has been involved in was fantastic. Marie Moreau, in my opinion, was okay. I didn't like what they were doing for her and making her seem like another character. The one person I will say definitely should be honorably mentioned is Emma. I loved Emma's bubbly, goofy personality in the show. I definitely enjoyed her being so positive, and it definitely shows how much Emma has been impacted by Andre to show belief in herself and also in others that we could do this, we can show shit up. It's definite friendship right there. That's what I love about Emma. I mean, her powers are not amazing. It does reminisce on Ant-Man, but I definitely think that she plays her part very well. Kate redemption is pretty good too. I do like the fact that she's now joining, people in the in the rebellion. And I also really enjoyed Sam's redemption too, because the build up for Sam was actually, I thought he was going to play like a dummy, where he's just going to kill humans and get involved with the suits. But no, I actually thought the idea of bringing him back to his parents and building a relationship again and being cool with each other was actually pretty good. So yeah, I think that was a pretty good adaptation for Sam, and I definitely enjoyed some of the cameos in the show, except for Sister Sage, in my opinion. I also liked Viker a lot. As I said before, Viker was pretty good, definitely strong, definitely an OP character at times, but I definitely thought he was an enjoyable feature as well. So yeah, shout out to Tate Fletcher for playing that role, and I definitely think this was good. So yeah, with Gen V, I'm definitely going to give this an 8 out of 10. I think it was a really good episode. Although, unfortunately, I didn't enjoy the ending as I did with Guardians Godolkin, because Guardians Godolkin, at least that was a build up to what season 4 is about to come. It was more intense. I just wish the episode was longer. But with Trojan, yeah, the episode was longer than the last, which is what I wanted. But I wish it was executed very well and wasn't such a lackluster here and there. Even though there was some funny parts where the Godolkin was asking, why the hell was Firecracker in the 7? Or why the hell is Deeper in the 7? Which is the same question that I asked to this day, because the Deep and Firecracker are useless bunnies. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think about Gen V Season 2. Is there anything I missed out? Is there any other episodes you liked? Let me know. And be nice, okay? I'm not going to get everything right, but yeah, those are my thoughts.